Well, hello guys. Welcome once again to the Noob DM channel. And today I wanted to make a commentary, I guess, not a different type of video, sort of my opinion. And right off the bat, I'm probably gonna preface this by saying that this is probably gonna tick off a lot of the critter community. If you play D&D, you're probably familiar with the Critical Role stream, and I have to say right off the bat, I have nothing against the Critical Role D&D streaming program by Matt Mercer. I think that I'm happy for their success, as it is D&D related, mostly with the fifth edition games. But I'm not a huge fan of the program. I'll be straight up and upfront about that. It's not my. I've tried it, watching it, but it's not my cup of tea. But I know that other people enjoy it. And whenever you make any type of commentary or give an opinion to something as popular as Critical Role, or anything that having to do with somebody's favorite fandom, or if they're members of the fandom, then there is a misconception that you're attacking the program or you're attacking the fandom, when in reality it's a very specific topic or a very narrowed point of view, which focuses on one thing and one thing alone. And that's what I'm going to focus on and highlight the new Vox Machina. I guess it's called the Vox Machina animated show. I have not seen the show, and I don't plan to watch it because it's on Amazon Prime, and I have issues with Amazon, and that's mostly what I wanted to focus on today. So, um, if you've seen the show and you love the show, great. That's good for you. Again, I'm not anti-Critical Role. In fact, I do happen to own this book, which is the D&D Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which came out for fifth edition, that Matt Mercer put together, because I think he's a great DM, and I do think that he's, in terms of world building, it's an amazing achievement building its own campaign setting or own his own what do you call it, his own his own specific D&D campaign. And so I guess I'm really disappointed that Critical Role has such a big following and a huge influence, and I think it's a missed opportunity for them to have gone to Amazon without really, there's so many streaming services, that Apple, well, not that Apple is not, like, not a big conglomerate, but there's other streaming services with a better reputation. Here's just one article talking about the social issues. This is a year ago, but I don't think things have changed all that much in a year. 31 Amazon employees share their working conditions as a response to Jeff Bezos' wealth continuously growing. Um, he is the richest person on the planet, and there was a viral thread which had Amazon employees sharing stories about the poor working environment, subpar safety standards, and unfair pay, calling Bezos an autocrat and suggesting that he's accumulating his wealth at their expense. I think there's a good case to be made for that if you read through this and through the company's history or some of the business practices that they've engaged in over the years. This particular exchange on Twitter kicked off a viral thread where Amazon employees were explaining why his wealth isn't worth celebrating. So, how much of this can you chalk up to disgruntled employees or people that have had a bad experience with the company versus people that are um, just genuinely concerned about the issues within the business infrastructure or the company infrastructure. 10-hour shifts, one 30-minute lunch, two 15-minute breaks. Most of the breaks you spend walking. This is from a, a, um, the Twitter feed from an employee. Most of the break you spend walking to and back from the break room because the warehouse is huge. Um, I wouldn't feel as irritated by his wealth as I do if his workers were treated like people. But Bezos is just about the most sickening, nasty individual. which is her opinion, but it's an opinion based um, on life experience. This one's pretty bad. When I found out I was pregnant, I had to ask my doctor to write an accommodation just so I would be able to use the bathroom without being written up and possibly have a miscarriage because of the workload. Amazon denied doctor's orders. Um, Austin, an ex Amazon employee who agreed to tell the website about his experiences at the company, worked there for about 2 years. I worked every position besides the manager, all shifts, days and nights. I decided to leave after my mental health was deteriorating due to being locked basically in this giant steel building with fluorescent lighting. Um, you can say whatever you think. A company has a right to put out guidelines or say that their employees, but they don't really. Um, Amazon just doesn't have a good track record of actually having, dealing with their employees. Can confirm I worked there for 6 months as a picker, problem solver, gift wrapper. One day I just decided to quit. I literally went on to every manager and told them they could do better. So, this is just stories from like people, but some of them are really eye opening and some of them are really harrowing. And it's not like it's this one article, I mean, you could go on Google and just go ahead and go into Amazon, working conditions, what are what are working conditions at like at the company. How does Amazon treat their employees? There have been many complaints from employees at Amazon's fulfillment centers. Workers allege that they are given back-breaking tasks in the warehouses. They also vent their dismay over intrusive surveillance technologies, including automated tracking systems and cameras that monitor their every move. And I've read multiple sources. Forbes did a hard-hitting investigative report into Amazon that shows that workers' needs were neglected in favor of getting goods delivered quickly. This was, back a couple months back, and so it's Forbes. Forbes is the website or the source, and it goes into um, great detail of an investigative piece inspired partly by the New York Times, which alleged for at least a year and a half, including during periods of record profit, Amazon had been shortchanging new parents, patients dealing with medical crisis, and other vulnerable workers on leave, according to the report or the findings. There were heartbreaking stories of stopped disability payments, cars repossessed, the need to sell a wedding ring, and mistaken firings due to the supposedly faulty programs. The investigative findings indicated that workers at facilities across the country had to contend with questionable payroll software that led to people with medical problems and other life crises having been fired when the attendance software mistakenly marked them as no shows. It was reported doctors' notes vanished into black holes in Amazon's databases. So on and on it goes. I'm not going to read the whole report or all the findings because you can pretty much do a um a Google search and come up with the most salient highlights of the report. But my point is that and obviously this is not the only, it's not there are many companies that have horror stories shared by employees or that have been investigated for their business practices. But I just think that with the popularity of 5E and with the recent, especially during the pandemic, because people have more of a chance to, they can't sit around a table anymore with people, or it's risky. So some people have chosen to go digital, go online, and a lot of people have been exposed to the hobbies or the role playing hobbies because of during this time because of streams and gaming streams are nothing new, but D&D streams are fairly popular and fairly new phenomenon. And Critical Role, let's face it, has a big window, a big reach. It's like the biggest stream when it comes to D&D, portraying the D&D experience. And now they're venturing out. Good for them. They're venturing out into animated and other types of media or other genres. But it's really disappointing to me that um, they had to go with um, Amazon and having so many choices out there with better track records. Or I mean, it's not like they could have. I don't know what the whole business side of it. I don't pretend to be an expert, so I don't know what the dealings were or how the deal came about. But it it's just disappointing. And so that's my opinion.